Welcome to the Weather Insights Briefing. I'm meteorologist Scott Pitney along with meteorologist Jeff Lindner. Today is Wednesday, January 29th, 2025, and we are looking at the threat, a very minor threat for some severe weather moving into Texas. We see that low pressure here in this image swirling around out there in the Four Corners area. That's going to move from west to east. And as it does, most of the energy will stay up there with it. It will drag a front behind or through the east and southeast Texas. So there is a minor severe weather threat, mainly damaging winds for this particular event. We do have a lot of moisture moving in from the Gulf of Mexico today. You can see that there on the satellite, but that moisture is really not bringing the energy needed. I know you're going to talk about that in a second, Jeff, but it's not bringing enough energy to get things going. But there is a slight potential. You can see it here at SPC has most of the area in marginal risk, but there is a slight risk. 2 out of 5, mostly north and east of Houston, all the way through up to Louisiana and to a small portion of Mississippi there. And that is for tomorrow afternoon, for Thursday afternoon. Now, areas around College Station and so forth, they could start seeing rain and thunderstorms in the morning, and then Houston Metro sometime early afternoon, and then off the coast by the evening. And then behind the front, Jeff, it's looking pretty nice. We're going to see a warming trend, and I think I saw low 80s for Monday, potentially. What is that, 2 weeks after we had 3 inches of snow?
Oh yeah, and it's also the week we were supposed to get the
Yeah,
next Arctic outbreak coming in, which isn't going
yeah,
to happen.
yeah.
Everybody was freaking out there for a little while after the snow event of when the next cold blast was going to come, and it was supposed to be around next week. And I don't see any cold air through probably the middle part of February, to be honest with you. And even then, I don't see anything screaming. So, like Scott said, tomorrow's a real marginal. We do have a slight risk, a 2 out of 5 for parts of the area tomorrow, but this is what we call the CAPE or convective available potential energy. It's a big fancy word
Yeah.
for energy in the atmosphere. And as you can see here, this is around noon tomorrow, as the dry line, if you will, is coming in from the west. You can see we got some the darker colors here, are the higher amounts of energy. So, right along the incoming front dry line, we might have some, and then out here in the Gulf of Mexico. But it doesn't really get going until if you kind of had to look at this. Interestingly enough, the SPC severe threat is further off to the north and east.
Yeah.
And the reason being is, as you can see here, these little wind barbs are all kind of pointed in the same direction. But the further north and east you get, you can see there's some splitting here in the wind barbs. So that means we have a little bit more turning with height up in this area. So we have the wind energy up here, and sometimes it doesn't take these showers a lot to bring some of that wind energy down to the surface. And so I think if we do get any severe stuff, and it's probably going to be a severe gust here or there, 60 miles an hour from a good shower or a thunderstorm, it's going to be up in this area into Louisiana. And so even though the bigger energies down here, the wind profiles are more uniform, and we also probably don't have as much lift down in this area as up in this area. So things just really aren't lining up here for a big active weather day tomorrow. We're going to have showers and thunderstorms. We're going to have some lightning. We may have a little small hail, some gusty winds, but we're going to get through this just fine. And this is the same time you can kind of see really more of a dry line than a front. So these are surface dew points, and so it's going to get pretty muggy tomorrow. We're talking dew points pushing up into upper 60s. Look at this, almost getting up to 70.
Yeah.
But you can see this big punch of dry air coming out of West Texas. These are dew points down into the teens and 20s. And that kind of cuts in here tomorrow afternoon. And so the lift along that lift this really moist air mass here across southeast Texas. I mean, look at this 60-degree dew points all the way up into central Arkansas potentially. So we got a lot of modification to do on the air mass between now and tomorrow, and we'll see how it works out. But I really think this is a pretty marginal low end severe threat, and again, kind of really more north and east of Houston towards Louisiana. Kind of like what we've seen over the last couple of severe events. You can see here we're kind of on the tail end of this down here. I don't anticipate this to be like what we saw that last week of December where we had tornadoes and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, not at all. Thank goodness too, because that was a very unusual and scary, sometimes weak for a lot of folks. So yeah, nothing like that. But it is something to be weather aware tomorrow. Make sure you have your alert devices handy as the system comes through tomorrow afternoon, and look forward to a good weekend behind that. Of course, you can get all of our weather insights updates by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Make sure your notifications are turned on. And then also check out our Weather Insights blog for more information and in case you prefer reading over watching. Jeff, thank you very much.